Hi, I'm Dennis Hansen, designer, builder, and tester for Woody Logic surfboards. Today I'm going to be working on my Fruit Loops board. I built this quite a while ago, and I've got a little repair I need to do here. So in case you don't follow my blog or really don't know what I do as far as building wood surfboards, this is a board I built back in 2015. It's all balsa. It does have stringers that are cedar, and those are, I believe they're quarter by quarter. And this does have a center spar. Of course, it has ribs. I did it as a quad setup. It's a 6'8", I'm sorry, and this board's a little wider. It's 23 inches wide. So I've used this board a number of times. It's all balsa, so it's super light. So when I originally built this board, I had all balsa in here, and on a big day, the leash plug ripped out, took out the fiberglass, of course, ripped out this whole section, and so I replaced it with Polonia, a block of Polonia. And I just noticed this the other day. I was stripping this board off and pressure testing it to see if it would hold air, and I noticed this big crack here in this transition between the Polonia and the balsa. So I'm going to have to fix this. Sand it a little bit, and pretty much what I've done is strip the wax off the board. But I'm going to go through the process and see it. Okay, my first step, sand this area. I've got 150 grit, and I'm just using my sanding pad. And I'm going to see how much this lifts up, or if I should just glass over it. Okay, well, I've picked at it quite a bit just to get the loose pieces of fiberglass out of there, clean this up, get the dust out of there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take some pin rope with laminating resin, and I'm going to fill this little void here. Then I'll come back, level it out, and put a patch on top of it. Okay, so what I did, saturated the area with laminating resin, cut off a little piece of pin rope, made the ends straight right there, filled the void, put in more laminating resin, tapped it down, got all the air bubbles out, and so that it just, once it kicks, I can cut that little end off, and I can put my patches on top of that. Alright, so I'm letting the pin rope just kick here in the sun. I am using my SunCure laminating resin, and shouldn't take too long. Sand that down, put my patches on top of that. So the laminating resin's had a chance to kick. Now all I got to do is I'm going to cut out this little tail with a razor blade. Then I'm going to sand the area, prep it for my fiberglass patch. Alright, so I did make it a little easier. Used my orbital sander, 120 grit disc, and I pretty much leveled this area out, so I think it's ready for my patch. So the first thing I want to do is clean the area. Take a clean rag, some acetone, just wipe everything down around there. You want to make sure there's no contaminants get into that area you're trying to repair. Next, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to wet out where I think the patch is going to go, and for that I've got one of these measuring cups. Just going to pour a little bit of laminating resin in there. Stuff kicks so fast that you really got to work quickly, and I can see I need a better brush. Put this in the shade. Okay, got my resin back out. And let's just spread it around this area. Go ahead, get my first patch. Wet that out. Make sure there's no air bubbles. And my second patch. This is S2 glass, which is a little bit better than your standard E glass. I like it. It's used more in competition boards, but I just find it's a little stronger, a little harder to work with, but I think you get a better result. So the patches had a chance to dry, kicked. It's been this is in the sun like 5 minutes. Everything's nice and dry. So I'm going to level that out with my sander and put a gloss coat of resin on it. Alright, so after using my orbital sander, came back, used my sanding pad. All you want to do is you just want to feather all the edge of the patches so you don't get hung up on that. Try to blend it as much as you can. Seems pretty smooth to me. It's not like there's nothing on there, no burrs or any sharp edges, so it's going to be fine. Alright, so once more I'm going to clean the patch area with clean rag and some acetone. I don't think any grease or anything got introduced to the area, but it's just a good idea to clean everything up and get your best result in. Alright, my last step, I'm using the Suncure sanding resin. It's like it's a finish resin, and want to make sure you shake this. I say shake it up. So this is what I'm going to use. Not going to be particularly worried about, you know, the finish of this. It doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, the wax is going to go on top of this, so it's no big deal. Alright, so I haven't used this sanding resin for a while. It's been kind of old, and it did come out kind of this yellow color, and we're just going to put it on there and hope that it's going to work. Not going to put a lot, but I'm going to do enough for it to level itself. Alright, so the patch is on. It's pretty solid. There's no flex, which is good. And I'm pretty sure that's going to work for me. So the only other thing I need to do is I need to install my vent plug. And this is my vent here. I use a anchor, and I embed that with the epoxy into this tail block assembly. And usually the way I pressure test, there's a couple ways you can do it, but I secure this down. There's an electrician's grommet on there. This is a 1/4-inch screw, and I snug that down. And then I put the board in the sun, and the sun will heat the board, make the air inside expand. So when I release the plug, I should hear a rush of air. So I'm really happy. Board's fixed. It passed the pressure test, so I can wax it up again, take it out again. It's a fun board, and it works for me. So maybe this helps somebody out if you haven't repaired your wood board, if you're kind of new to this. It's pretty much like fixing a foam board. So anyway, thanks for watching.